Hey, it's Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of People of Distinction, the talk that gives an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, peopleofdistinction.org for more info, or you can always email me directly at benji@alcoleenterprises.com. And we are very excited to showcase this next guest here on our network, so sit back, strap in, and get ready for a wonderful ride. And on the line with us today, we have Bettina Jones. We're going to be discussing her wonderful book, God's Black Color. Available for purchase through Amazon as well as barnesandnoble.com. And guys, listen, Bettina was brought to our network, People of Distinction, today by some of the best movers in the business. Stellar Literary, Press, and Media Publishing. So if you have a book that you'd like moved, make sure you're giving yourself the best gift you could possibly give, and you contact Stellar Literary. You can find out more information on them at stellarliterary.com. And guys, listen, it is an absolute pleasure to have Bettina here on the line with us. Now, the moment you go to her Amazon page, her Barnes & Noble page, you start to do any research on her book, God's Black Color, you instantly understand what we're going to be discussing. Now, first and foremost, guys, how many of us can relate to this underlying message, this underlying theme? Who amongst us has never dealt with self-esteem issues? Probably not many, right? Just talking from my own experience, speaking for myself, I mean, that's something I still deal with in variations today and well into my adult life. And what I love so much about this book is, A, it's talking about the insecurities of a young child, a young woman in this instance, but it can connect to everyone. But also, guys, the moment you see that book cover, and I'm not going to make this all about race, but I'm definitely going to make a part of it about race, okay? And the representation that you see of that beautiful black young woman on the cover of the book, representation is something that is so important and cannot be missed when we're talking about this book. And Bettina is the expert. She's written the book. She's pulling from her experience, and she is going to be able to articulate everything much better than I ever could anyway. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Bettina, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you so much for being a guest with us today. How are you?
I'm good, and thank you for having me. Hi,
guys. I love the energy. It's absolutely enticing. It's great. Bettina, listen, this is such a pleasure, and there's so many reflections that I can offer already, but I'm going to refrain from doing that because at the end of the day, it's not about me. This is about you. And this is about your wonderful book, God's Black Color. But before we go into the narrative, start by telling our listening audience a little bit more about yourself and your background, please.
Well, for me, I'm a mom. I'm a single mom of a 17-year-old boy. I have 2 dogs, and I'm a medical assistant full-time. But I took the time to write this book. Just pretty much going off of my childhood as a woman, a black woman, also a woman of color, light-skinned woman, and just growing up, dealing with those kind of issues.
Yeah.
But my main background is just living full-time job of chaos, pretty much, dealing with trying to raise a son and dealing with my dogs and working a full-time job. It just can be crazy sometimes, but it was really fun writing this book.
Wonderful. Bettina, let's just jump right in. Again, I have to continue to remind myself, hold off a little bit, because I got some questions, girl. But let's go right into the narrative. Without further ado, God's Black Color. Tell us a little bit more about your book.
Well, it depicts my life growing up as a black woman, just a woman of color, of a lighter skin color. Sometimes we don't get to hear from that point of view, and I go through it every day since I was little. So I just depict my feeling of seeing it through my eye, and just how people can treat me in a sense, and how I had to learn and overcome self-esteem issues and learn that I'm okay with being this color, because for a while I didn't feel okay being this color. But it's a really good book. It's about adventure. and just overcoming and trying to learn self-esteem and dealing with bullying. But it's also, it's not just for little girls and little boys. It also can even be for adults if they want to read it.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Bettina, now you said that this is loosely based, or this is based upon your life. Now, is it a memoir of sorts, or is it a fictional narrative that has realistic circumstances from your background?
Yes, it's a fictional narrative that has real life in it. Because there is some fictional things that I had to put in it to make it a little more kid friendly.
Right.
Not so sad, not so, oh my God, but to make it more kid friendly, but also dealing with self-esteem issues and bullying, which I believe we all have been through as children.
Of course. Yeah.
I mean, we all have been through there with anything, but mainly with what we look like. But I had to throw in some kid stuff to make it fun, as far as imaginative things, but it mainly has to deal with self-esteem issues. And also I threw in there with other kids and the way that they look to show that they are beautiful as well with their skin color through the eyes of the child that's in there. That's supposed to be me. Her name is Selena. So she's looking through her eyes and seeing these other kids in their colors and thinking that they're beautiful too. So it's not just, just looking down on just one color. But you have to read it.
And we absolutely will, Bettina. We absolutely will. So next concept that I want to go into, let's talk about inspiration for a second, because you come from a medical background, right? So you're not a writer, at least career-wise. So I'm curious, where does the inspiration for creative writing come from? Was this a hobby of yours growing up? Were there artists that inspired you? Talk to us a little bit more about that inspiration.
It's definitely a hobby of mine. I've always been very creative since I really was little. I always loved writing all kinds of stories, make-believe stories. And I don't know, one day I was at lunch at work, eating my food in my car. And that day, it just hit me from when I was little. I just thought about all the things I went through, and I just started writing. I wrote God's Black Colors in one night. It just was a collaboration of different paragraphs and stuff just kind of put together in one day in my car. And then that night I started taking pictures off Pinterest and just putting it all together as far as just colors of different kids, in a sense, from Pinterest. And just kind of going off of that to make my story. And it just, there it is.
There it is. Bettina, talk to us about the title of your book, God's Black Color. I mean, that is something that is going to have a very distinct image that's brought to mind for someone like myself, for instance, or maybe somebody from a marginalized community. But in addition, having that, as I said when we first started, that book cover, right, with the beautiful young black face that we see on the cover. Talk to us about the book cover and also the title of your book and why you chose each of them to be a representation for the book that you wrote.
Well, I chose, I actually chose the title in a sense, mainly to actually hit the African American community, because there is a lot of, I'm trying to find the word, there's a lot of, I don't want to say the word hate, but there's a lot of dislike of what we look like. And Absolutely. It could be towards a different shade of the black color. So I used the word God's Black Color because I wanted a lot of the African American people to know that it is okay to look how you look. Absolutely. And I wanted to say that in a way mainly, and it was a really personable book because I wrote it in a sense, not just for me, but it was for me in a sense. I still have to know that it's okay for me to look how I look because I still have to deal with how I look. People still talk about the light skin, the dark skin.
Right.
And I still can get picked on for that. So I chose God's Black Colors because when you read it and you get to the end, you can see, in a sense, that we're all alike. We're all, in a sense, black, no matter what shade you are, and that it's beautiful. So I chose that title for that sense. So that was the inspiration behind naming the book God's Black Colors.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Bettina, probably one of the most important questions of today's interview, and what a perfect segue that you've established, because it leads right into it. Now, again, talking specifically about the African American community, I think anybody that picks up this book can have, the book will have, it will resonate with people from different marginalized communities, or even maybe white readers as well, right? I think everybody getting to that underlying message of insecurities, everybody has them. So there's always that connection that people can resonate with and they can connect to.
Yeah.
Now, you said a mouthful, because being an African American man myself, I too can understand coming from a community where you have different shades of black people in and of itself, and when you're light skin or more fairer skin, there's a lot of animosity within that community as well. And there's a lot of judgments within that in and of itself. And I think that by pointing that out, it's one of those things where it's like, it's known, but it doesn't, people don't really like to talk about it. And I'm glad you went there. So from a child's perspective, from your reader's perspective, someone that is an African American themselves and finds themselves dealing with, again, you said hatred is too strong, and I agree, but dealing with this maybe bullying of sorts. What are some words of advice that you would like to say to a young reader that picks up this book and finds such a connection with what your main protagonist is going through?
I would just say you are fine the way you are. Love yourself. Love your slanted eye. Love your lighter skin. Love your bulkier nose. Love your fuller lips. Love your skin color, no matter what it is. I mean, just love it, because that's who you are. That's how you were born. You can't help it. Love your wavier, curlier hair. Love everything about yourself, and don't ever let anyone, no matter what color they are, how tall they are, how short they are, whatever it is, make you feel like the way that you naturally look is wrong, because there's nothing wrong with you. You are beautiful. Young girl, young boy, no matter what nobody tells you. You don't have to be, half of a different race to be beautiful. You don't. You can be, however you are, you're beautiful.
I love it.
And that's pretty much the gist of the book. You're beautiful the way you are.
Listen, people, if you take nothing else from this interview, take that message. You are beautiful, right? You are worthy. I love it. I mean, listen, we can all get behind that. That's fantastic. Guys, again, we are here on the line with Bettina Jones. We're discussing her wonderful book, God's Black Color, available for purchase through Amazon as well as barnesandnoble.com. Listen, last couple of questions as we tie it out here, because I could sit here and I could talk to you for hours. At the end of the day,
me too.
Our listening audience knows what they have to do. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, there's no getting around it, right? So we're not going to give everything away here with this interview, but last couple of questions, and one that I'm selfishly hoping is a yes. But what's on the horizon? Is there a sequel to this book? Is there another one in creation? Talk to us about what's to come.
Well, what's to come is I want to be an author, just an author of all books. I want to write a few more children's books, but I'm looking forward to writing more thriller books, more adult books, more, suspense thriller books. They may be more for adults. I got a few in the writing right now that I got to continue. That's what my future holds. It may not be more children-based books. It may be a few more, but I plan on going more and more chapter books, more suspense thriller books, where it's like, whoa, like it's gonna leap way further than children's books. I'm sorry, but I like more thrillers and stuff.
Absolutely.
This book was mainly more for me, like my baby, telling my story, and this just kind of happened right after work, like I really, but I'm so happy I got this published and done.
Bettina,
this one happened,
Absolutely.
I'm very proud of it, but
listen, we're very excited to hear that there's more on the horizon and there's more to come.
Yes.
Last question here. Being an artist myself, I love having this platform to be able to pay it forward in a sense to other artists out there listening in. So you're someone that has been through the process. You've written your book and you've also gotten the book published. And anybody that's been through the process understands that writing the book is only half the battle, right?
Yes. Yes.
So I'd love to take this opportunity for any new writers out there, anybody that's just starting off on this creative journey. What are some words of wisdom that you can relay to them?
Just keep writing. I mean, go for it. Take your time, write it, execute it, do whatever you can to reach out to whoever you need to. It's very exciting. Write your story, get it published, get it heard. Figure out who you know. Like this was a very fun, exciting process, and just keep writing. And I have to keep telling myself that along with these other adventures and books I'm trying to write now, because I'll get an idea and I'll write it. I'll write it in my notepad or I'll type it on my computer. And even if it's just like one sentence that you thought of through the night, it's one sentence. It's one sentence to your next book. So just write.
Absolutely.
And next thing you know, it turns into a book. So just write. It's fun. It's a story. Even if it's a fictional story, even if it's a funny story, just write. Like, it's exciting. I have like 3 books that I'm trying to write right now, and they're all on this laptop, at home. And I'm just like, I have to finish them, but it'll get done at some point. But all I have to say to make this quick, I keep writing. Sky's the limit. It's fun. It's out of sight. You will get it done, and you will have your own book, your own God's Black Colors. You'll have it.
There it
is. And a great artist like I did. My mom actually did the pictures for my book.
Really? Family affair on top of all of that.
I know.
I love it.
So,
Bettina, I love it.
Artist, you can, I can't draw, so if you know somebody that can draw,
make it work.
Hey,
I like it.
If you can draw and write.
Absolutely. Bettina, I love it. And listen, guys, I'm going to say it for you once more, even though I know I don't have to, but let's re-impress it again. We're here on the line with Bettina Jones. We just finished discussing her wonderful book, God's Black Color, available for purchase through Amazon as well as barnesandnoble.com. Head on over there today and pick up your copies. You surely will not be disappointed. Bettina, this has been an absolute pleasure. Such an honor. I truly mean that. Thank you once again for being a guest with us today on People of Distinction.
Thank you for having me.
Come and be a guest with us on People of Distinction.